Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday. It is the 12th day of August 2021. I hope you're COVID free and healthy today. I hope your family, in terms of food, shelter, clothing, and health, that their needs are being met, as well as yourself. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, trying to save lives. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage for us to keep our places clean. Blessings upon those that make deliveries, unsung heroes that work for our convenience. Double blessing on those that are trying to deliver boys and girls, babies, men and women and children from human trafficking, sex slave operations, child prostitution and forced prostitution, as well as pedophilia and child molestation and child pornography, all of which are related. Double blessings on those trying to deliver these innocents from these situations where they're being exploited. And curses, double curses on those that support these industries and practice these things. Finally, blessings upon those that are helping the homeless. There are 600,000 men, women, and children in the United States without a roof over their head, and the situation appears to be getting worse. Blessings upon them and the millions of people around the earth also in worse conditions. Blessings upon them and blessings upon those that are trying to help. For these are the people for the kingdom. There was a basketball game last night. Our New York Knicks played the Los Angeles Lakers. Now we have to understand, in Summer League, you have teams that are consisting of players that have been drafted in this previous draft, the 60 players that have been drafted, players that have not been drafted but are trying to make an NBA roster from previous drafts, or players that have not worked out the way they wanted to, or players that are from overseas trying to break into the NBA. And so every game becomes very competitive because it's like a tryout for most of these players that are playing. It's like a tryout. So like a team like the Lakers, most of their roster is not on you're not going to see probably anybody on their roster that's going to be on the floor in the Summer League. You might maybe maybe Joel Ayayi from Gonzaga, maybe Matt McClung possibly, but most of these guys will not make the roster for the Los Angeles Lakers. As you know, their team is pretty much set with veterans. But what they're trying to do is get picked up by another team or get noticed by another team. And so my point is they'll be playing all out. They'll be going hard, okay, and trying to win the job. This is actually good for the New York Knicks because we have several players on our team that may be either on our G League roster or on our regular roster, and some may even be in the rotation, of course, like Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly, and then, of course, Miles McBride, as well as Quentin Grimes. And then you have Jericho Sims, who's already signed a 2-year deal. So it's a good experience for them to go against players that are desperate. You know, when we used to play in the street, every once in a while, I don't know what would bring it up, but we used to bet money, on each other. Like we'd play, $5 or $10 a man. I didn't like playing in those games because when you played in those games, dudes play really hard and dirty. And oftentimes, this was before the era when a lot of cats was packing guns. At this time, brothers at the most would pack a knife, right? But you didn't want to deal with that because, it could get very ugly. So when you're playing for money, it gets hard, right? And so that's the way I look at these games. These guys are playing for money. They're playing to get a contract. All right. So with that in mind, the atmosphere yesterday when the Knicks played the Lakers was you could see a Laker team full of guys that were playing for money, right? They were playing for money. And for example, Obi Toppin, when you look at Obi Toppin, he looked very active. He looked extremely athletic, as we know he is. He ended up with 11 rebounds. He was hitting the boards, 3 offensive. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but the reason is he was getting beat up. And the refs were kind of letting them happen to him, and that's actually good for him. it was almost like I was thinking when I watched him, welcome to Julius Randle's world, because he was getting hammered and there was no calls all the time. Now, he only went to the line 3 times. He shot the ball 17 times. He should have been went to the line a lot more than that. But like I said, I like the fact that they allowed that because this is summer league. It's not the real thing. Obi's got a contract. He should get used to that type of physicality when he's playing in the NBA. He didn't play enough minutes last year to really worry about it too much, but I think that's going to change. He's going to get more minutes this year. So he's got to be able to play through the contact. And so I was glad to see they kind of let people beat up on him yesterday. I didn't want him to get hurt. But they would kind of let people beating up on him in the desperation from the Laker players. They were grabbing, holding, bumping him. That's the type of thing he needs. As long as he don't hurt him, especially in his legs. But that's the type of thing he needs to get used to. And so it was very good for him yesterday. It was almost like a good workout, except instead of having somebody with a piece of cushion pushing him while he's shooting, guys are really grabbing him and pushing him and elbowing him, and he's got to score. This is very good. So he shot 6 of 17. It wasn't the greatest percentage-wise. He had 5 personals. Some of them were ridiculous, but all of that is like the real. See, this is what they do in the league too, right? So he had 5 personals, and he had 17 points and 11 boards. Tough game. I liked it. I liked how he responded. He stayed cool, even though a couple of times you could see he was looking at the ref like the ref was crazy. He played through it. He didn't argue with the ref. And this is what Julius Randle hopefully will learn to do. Julius Randle get to the point where it gets in his head and he starts arguing with the ref like the ref's going to change his call. Not going to do that, right? So got to play on. Obi was doing that. And that was excellent there. Jericho Sims, 3 of 4 from the field. He had 7 points. He had 2 rebounds. He was, again, he's going to be steady. He's going to be, that seems to be his game. I don't think his ceiling is it's not going to be a spectacular ceiling. He's not going to ever be a spectacular player. Although when he does a dunk, or like he did yesterday, he had 2 blocks, but one of them is like he almost caught the man's shot. Those are spectacular plays. But in terms of his ceiling, I don't think he's going to be a prolific guy. I think he can, like I said, be a Buck Williams style rebounder, and that would be tremendous. If he could be a double figure rebounder, that would be excellent. If he could do that and play he plays very good defense. He just needs to keep doing that. This is good for him. Okay. Quentin Grimes, if you look at the stat sheet, and you'll see Quentin Grimes was 3 of 9 from the field, 2 of 8 from 3. Again, he did not shoot the ball very well. But what I noticed and what showed up in the stat sheet, he had 9 boards yesterday. Again, players that affect winning are not always going to have their shot on. And this is why I like Quentin Grimes so much. His shot wasn't on. It hasn't been on yet this summer. Okay. It looks good. When it leaves his hand, it looks good. And what I liked yesterday is he was taking good shots again. He wasn't forcing it. He had his legs under him. He just wasn't dropping yet, right? So, but he had 9 boards. He had 2 assists. He had a steal. And if you notice, he was helping break the press and helping with the pressure at the top point of attack. And he wasn't forcing anything. He wasn't taking bad shots. He wasn't trying to force his shot. He was moving without the basketball. And of course, again, he was playing stellar defense. I'm very excited for us having Quentin Grimes, even though he didn't shoot the ball yesterday. If you're paying attention to basketball, everything you want to see is there. Okay, he just needs to get his shot, and I'm not worried about that. Eventually, that shot's gonna start falling, and when it does, when it starts raining with the rest of his game, it's gonna make him look like an all-star. I mean, I'm not saying he is, but it's gonna make him look like that because that's the kind of player we're dealing with right now. He just needs time to get acclimated. I'm not worried about him. I guess I'm saying to all Knicks Nation, just be patient with him. He's going to be all right. The fact that he impacts winning like that, getting 9 rebounds, he was plus 21 yesterday. That was a team high. He was plus 21. Okay. Wayne Selden, for example, was negative 18. Okay. But my man Grimes was plus 21 because he's impacting winning aside from just his shooting. Okay. Very good. Quick was good. Quick was good. Point guard situation, 7 of 15 from the field, 10 of 10 from the field, 7 assists. What I like is he was talking smack out there too. Did you hear him? I mean, if you saw the game, you heard him. They had him mic'd up a little bit, and he said, "Y'all not gonna stop me from getting to the line. I get to the line whenever I want to." I like that, man. So Quick was in his bag yesterday. He had 3 turnovers, 7 assists. He scored 25. It was very good. Although a couple of times, again, the start of the game to me was my man Deuce McBride, but we're gonna come to him in a second. I liked what I saw from Rokas Jokubaitis. He played. Deuce McBride is a plug and play type of guy, and playing alongside Deuce helped Jokubaitis. Jokubaitis was 3 or 4 from the field, 2 or 3 from 3. He shot the ball very well. More importantly, he played good team basketball. You could see he was a little lost out there, but between Quick and Deuce, they were helping him get in the right spots and finding the spots where he could be most successful, which is why the shots he got were good shots, and it was in a good position to take them, and that's why he looked good. Now, defensively, he's not a train wreck by any stretch, but compared to the other guys we're talking about, he just wasn't quite as good on defense, but at least he tries. He puts the effort in. And this is where the culture of the Knicks helps a player. Because a guy like this knows he got to play defense, and he's coming to play defense. Okay? He wants to show Tom Thibodeau he plays defense. Now, I think they're right on his timeline. He's about a year away from being ready for the big stage. But I liked what I saw from him. This next year, he's 20. So the next year in Europe, in the Barcelona league, that's a pretty tough league. And so for him to be playing in there, he's going to really show out very well and come back next year even more ready to play. I can see right now a future rotation of Quick, Bride, and Jokubaitis. I can see a future rotation like that because the kid is pretty good. I like him. Young kid, but he knows the game very well. Most guys come from Europe, fundamentally sound. Yeah, and so I like what I saw from him, definitely. Now, Deuce, what are you going to say? I mean, you want to understand what all NBA level defense looks like? Watch this kid. He is a blanket. And not only that, if you happen to get by him, he's coming back. Again, did not force anything. Quick was demanding the ball a lot, and Deuce was doing his thing, and Deuce just picked his spots. Did not force a shot. He was 7 of 9 from the field, 6 of 6 from 3. He ended up with 22, 5 assists, 7 boards. This is an all-around game. This is a lead guard. Deuce McBride is a lead guard. And man, he is a dog. The press didn't faze him. I like this kid a lot, as you could tell. I liked him when I first saw him on the video, when I did a video of him and I said he was the most Tibbs type guy. This kid. Now, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Tibbs is going to try to ignore him. I know you're going to get all frustrated. He's going to try to ignore him. He's not paying no attention to no rookie. You got to catch his attention. Now, yesterday was a big step in that direction. Okay, it's a shame he got to go 6 for 6 from the field to catch your attention, because you should catch it before. But Tibbs just don't respect rookies. It's just as simple as that. But this kid, he's going to be in the rotation. I don't know. He's going to be in the rotation. First off, let me explain to you what the Knicks are doing with Emmanuel Quickley at point guard. And what it goes back to when we hadn't got a point guard yet a couple weeks ago, and we were all getting concerned about who was going to be the point guard. And I mentioned that IQ might be the point guard. Because I knew they did not want to start Derrick Rose. As I said, Derrick Rose at this stage of his career is not a starter. He is a guy to come off the bench because of his history of injury, because of his age. You want to play Derrick Rose 15 to 22 minutes on the max, and you'll get the max out of him for a full season if you do that. He's going to also need some days off as well, and you want him fresh for the playoffs. You don't ever want to be playing him like they did last year, 30-plus minutes a game. It would destroy him and end his career, okay? A lot of you guys a couple weeks ago were tripping because Derrick Rose wasn't going to be the starter. You can't just, this ain't NBA 2K. You can't just do it, throw him out there like that. He's past that time. You got to really have him on the bench. So they were never planning, as it turns out, to start Derrick Rose. And so you get Kemba Walker too, right? He's very similar. He doesn't have the extensive knee injury history that Derrick Rose has, but he does have a knee problem, as we know. So you're not going to be able to play him, heavy minutes all season long. You want him to be able to close games for you, and you want him for the playoffs, right? So what's going to happen is whenever Kemba is sitting for either rest or injury or whatever, IQ is going to start the point guard. That's what they're doing right now. That's why Tibbs is at the games and he's talking to IQ every game. They're planning on bringing IQ in as the starting point guard whenever Kemba is not starting. That's what you're going to see. So you're going to have Derrick Rose and IQ as a pair coming off the bench, right? They're going to replace Kemba and Evan Fournier. And then you're going to have IQ start games whenever Kemba's sitting. They're going to, probably manage him, right? So you're going to deal with no back-to-backs and all that. You're going to have IQ starting in those games. And then you're going to have Deuce McBride coming off the bench with D Rose. And that's going to be a dynamic tandem. So, this is what they're doing. It's very smart. So you got to understand when the Knicks starting with Don Rose, they playing chess. That means they're strategic. That means they're thinking several moves ahead. So what you see them doing now is not for now. It's for later. Okay. So they're planning on using Emmanuel Quickley as the starting point guard whenever Kemba's sitting, which in an 82 game season, I'm really only expecting 60, 65 games out of Kemba this year. If we can get 60 to 65 games out of him, that's a successful season. Don't expect anything close to 82 games or even 72 games. We want 60 to 65. We want Emmanuel Quickley's going to be starting, probably 15 games this year. That's what you want. And then you're going to have Deuce McBride coming in with D Rose. Okay. And I can see Deuce getting minutes every game, though not the same number of minutes. In the situation I just described, he will get more minutes, right? Because now you're going to have him as your third guard. But in the normal situation, when Kemba's starting, he probably going to get minutes behind. Because again, they're not going to play Kemba and D Rose 30 minutes. Okay, they're not going to do that. They're going to play them probably 20 minutes each, maybe even 18. You want to really keep their minutes at a moderate pace. And then the more Deuce develops this year, the more minutes he's going to get behind them this year, right? So he's the point guard of the future. There's no question. He's the point guard of the future. Now, what I liked, if you notice, something minor happened that most people didn't even notice and didn't understand the import of. Let me explain. When you get drafted in the first round in the NBA, most people know you get a guaranteed 4-year contract. Okay? Your contract is guaranteed for 4 years in the first round. And the scale of the pay is at the highest level at the number 1 pick. And of course, and it slowly drops to, when you get to the 30th pick. By the time you get to the 30th pick, you pay somewhere around $1.8 million in that range, but it's guaranteed for 4 years, right? There's no such thing in the second round. In the second round, you have a couple of choices. They're not going to pay you what you would get in the first round. You're not getting a 4-year guarantee. You can choose to get that. And that way you're guaranteed getting a salary for 4 years. Mitchell Robinson did that. When he came, he got a 4-year, $6 million contract. I know that sounds like nothing, right? But that's what they did. And so, the 4th year was a team option and they just exercised it for $1.8 million. Okay. That's how you get. So most players want that security, even though it doesn't sound like a lot of money compared to say like Cade Cunningham is guaranteed somewhere in the neighborhood of 40, 45 million over this next 4 years. Right? Because he's number 1 pick. That's how they get paid. But, when you're in the second round, it's not like that. Now, you could also decide you want to take a 3-year or a 2-year deal. Now, when you're doing that, now this is the player's choice and the agent's choice. When you're doing that, you're betting on yourself. And my man, Deuce, took the 2-year deal with a 3rd year as a team option. Okay, so they got control of him for 3 years. And then he's going to be a free agent. I'm telling you, he's already planning on tearing up the league. He is so confident in his ability. He's saying, I know I'm going to be worth more money after 2 years. I don't need the guarantee. I'm going to get paid after 2 years. That's what he's thinking. And you know what? He's right. The poise of this kid, the calmness under pressure. I told y'all about the J off the dribble. He was showing that yesterday, as well as the spot up J. Okay, we know the defense is off the charts, but aside from that, he had 7 boards yesterday. He had 7 boards yesterday, 2 on the offensive end. Did y'all see that block he did? They called the foul, but that block was clean. I mean, I think y'all agree. He came from the weak side, and that boy rose up into the box of the backboard, and he wiped somebody's shot away. They say he's 6'3". He's really about 6'2", but man, 6'9" wingspan. Man, Frank Nitty's not on the team no more. So even though I'm gonna follow him, he's not my favorite Knick anymore because he's not on the team. I got a new favorite now. His name is Deuce. Boy, I could watch this guy play ball all the time. It's just, so he was 7 of 9 from the field, ridiculous. 6 of 6 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line. 7 boards, 5 assists. Controlled the pace whenever he got the opportunity to do that. Calm under pressure, makes the right reads. He's going to end up in the rotation. There's no question. So you got him and Grimes. Now, I want to know, now we still in Summer League. Now, Wayne Selden was all 5 yesterday, negative 18. And he had 18 minutes yesterday. I noticed that game by game, Deuce is getting more minutes. So this time he got 28 minutes. I think the last game he had something like 24, 25 minutes. Now he's getting more minutes. I would be surprised if he wasn't starting on Friday. So they go with 3 guards as it is because Selden's really a guard. So they go with Grimes, Quickly, and Selden, and then they'll have Toppin and Sims. That's been the starting lineup for the last 3 games. But I would be surprised if also McBride wasn't in there instead of Selden because, man. Or they might let him play with Rokas Jokovitis as well because he actually helps Jokovitis when they're in the game together. He does. He helps Jokovitis, which was very good. It's good to see the Knicks helping each other like that. And so they were really helping the kid get used to the NBA. Yeah, so the Knicks won the game, but the Summer League, and I'm glad they won, but it's not that important to win Summer League. It's important to see these guys develop, and they are doing that. This is very good. I don't know who they play Friday. In fact, let me see who do they play Friday. Because, who do they play Friday? I know they play Friday against the Pistons. Oh, yes, this is a good one. They're playing our boy Cade Cunningham and them. They're playing the Pistons. So I won't see the game live, but I'm going to be seeing the replay for sure on Saturday night. This is another good thing. Now, I want to warn you in advance. Deuce gets hyped when he plays against Cade Cunningham. He takes this the way De'Aaron Fox used to get hyped when he played against Lonzo Ball. If y'all remember when De'Aaron Fox was coming out of Kentucky, whenever he played Lonzo Ball, just the thought of talking about Lonzo Ball would get him annoyed. And then he would go out there and go off. And then his rookie year, he did the same thing. He doesn't do it as much now because he's already proven. He already got his max deal. He already proven he's the better player. But boy, he was like a dog out there going against Lonzo Ball. Well, Cade has this problem called Deuce, and Deuce is going to be a problem for Cade on Friday. So this is very good. I'm very happy, very excited about the team we have. We're in good shape, brethren. Knicks Nation, enjoy these basketball times because the reason, I'm liking watching the Summer League as much as I like watching the regular season because of the level of talent that's playing. You don't always get this, y'all. I mean, Cade Cunningham the other day was playing against Jalen Green and Houston, and then you had Golden State against Toronto with that daggone kid from Barnes from Florida State. Man, he could. Oh my gosh, he could play. And then you had Kuminga. People forget Kuminga is just turning 19. I mean, he just turned it. He's gonna play this whole NBA season at age 19. And he's playing like a man with boys already. There's a lot of talent. And I'm telling you, you're not gonna see this next year. When they start letting more high school kids play, you're gonna see a lower level of play, and then you'll see a lot of upperclassmen be looked at because they're more polished. But you see a lot of guys with upside. The Knicks might even draft an 18-year-old next year because we won't need to add to our regular rotation too much. But we would be, so in that case, we'll be looking for upside, something that we can develop for the future. And so you might see that. You're not going to see the same level of talent that you're seeing now. Maybe the second year, the guys that get drafted next year, maybe their second year where they come back to play in the summer league again, you'll see a lot better. But it's not going to be like this. This draft was tremendously deep, y'all. It's just, like I said, it's a generational draft. I ain't seen the draft this deep in 10 years. It really is a generational draft. And so the level of play we're seeing from guys like Suggs and Evan Mobley and then second year guys like some of the guys in Oklahoma City that are playing in the summer league. Man, it's really nice to see good basketball like this. So enjoy this because you're not gonna get it like this all the time. And then with the Knicks, we finally coming back to glory. You know, the Knicks basketball is back. We here. Now the next stage, which the Knicks are also doing, you can see it if you're paying attention. They're developing a culture so that we can have long-term, sustainable winning. That's what they're doing. They're developing a culture. You see they brought in a Kemba. They got a D-Roll. But right behind them, Deuce McBride, Emmanuel Quickly, and Joko Bidas. Right behind them. Okay? 2 years away, those three kids will step right in, and we won't miss a beat. We won't miss a beat. Okay? So, this is really good, y'all. And then Obi. I still don't know what they're going to do. They're going to have to give him more minutes. They got to. Okay? He just looks too natural out there playing 25, 30 minutes. He really looks good. So, you got to figure a way to get him on the floor, man. But we're in good hands. Mitchell Robinson's only 22, 23, right? We can have Nerlens Noel as a backup for 3 seasons. We gonna be in good shape, yo. Really good shape, man. And so the continuity is gonna be there. Yeah, this is the 3rd season for RJ and Randall playing together. The 3rd season with Mitchell, 3rd season together. You're gonna bring these rookies in. They're gonna add to the blend right there. This is all good. We're really looking very good in Knicks Nation. This is the time. Don't stop looking at other teams and worrying about how good they are. Your home team is really good, and we're going to get better. Please have a good Thursday. Be safe out there. Shalom.